In the top stories, Prime Minister Drew meets with EU delegation in Bahamas, Cape Air returns to Nevis, and Skelec announces outages for this week. We'll be back with the details after the break.
In cricket, there are a few essentials. A bat, a pitch, a ball, some fielders, and plenty of refreshments. Enjoy the cricket with Angostura Chill. Angostura Chill, the official refreshment partner of the Hero CPL T20.
Start the new year right with extra cash when you take your next Quartz Ready Cash loan. Get $100 Quartz Cash with your $5,000 loan and double the rewards with your next loan of $8,000 or over. Get your loan now and pay nothing down and get 30 days to make your first installment. Plus, hassle-free service, flexible payment terms, and 24-hour approval. All you need to apply is your ID, proof of address, payslip, references, and a job letter. Let's ring in the new year with some extra cash from Quartz Ready Cash. Conditions apply. Quartz Ready Cash. We are ready when you are.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Mervan Thompson. First up on the local scene, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, met with a delegation from the European Union on Friday before the start of the second day of the 44th regular meeting of CARICOM heads of government. During the meeting, Prime Minister Drew sought to seek partnerships in the build-out of the renewable energy projects of St. Kitts and Nevis as the Federation strives to become a green economy. Another point of discussion was the promotion of the hosting of the European Union Community of Latin American and Caribbean States EU CELAC Summit to be held in Brussels from July 17th to 18th, 2023 after an eight-year hiatus. Prime Minister Drew was supported by Right Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Naima Hazel, Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's Office, and Kay Bass, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The European Union delegation was headed by Javier Nino Perez, European External Action Service Deputy Managing Director, and Her Excellency Malgorzata Wasiluska, European Union Ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. Cape Air resumed operations at Nevis's Vance Amri International Airport on February 15th with an inaugural flight from St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. Deputy Premier of Nevis, Honorable Eric Evelyn, along with Chief Executive Officer of the Nevis Tourism Authority, Devon Liburd, welcomed the passengers from Cape Air Flight 9K7451. The 6 passengers arriving on the Cessna 4029-seater aircraft were also greeted on the tarmac with a performance by a masquerade troupe and presented with gift bags from Cape Air and the NTA. During a brief ceremony to mark the occasion, Honorable Evelyn delivered remarks on behalf of Honorable Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis and Minister of Tourism in the Nevis Island Administration. He said tourism is extremely important to the island and they are excited that Cape Air is back. Mr. Liburd said the relaunch of the Cape Air service is an exciting time for Nevis as it will increase access to the island not only from the USVI, but it will also serve as a connection point from the United States. In her remarks, Ms. Katia Ruiz, Regional Marketing Director for Cape Air, said the company was happy to be operating in Nevis once again, highlighting that Cape Air will be offering daily flights between St. Thomas and Nevis with 2 flights on Sundays. And finally on the local scene, the St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, SCELEC, is advising the public of scheduled maintenance outages for the week. On Monday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Courtyard Half Moon Bay will be without power. On Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Dolphin Rise Half Moon Bay is scheduled to be without power, and from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., Willetts Housing, St. Paul's Primary School, and St. Paul's Water Pump area will be without power. On Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Sea Mist Drive, Half Moon Bay is scheduled to be without power. On Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Lower Project Saddlers, Lavington Housing Project, and Main Road Lavington Village will be without power. And on Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Dolphin Rise Half Moon Bay is scheduled to be without power. If persons are without power after the scheduled times, they are encouraged to call 465-2013 or 600 from a mobile device. Coming up, we'll have another look at some of the stories from the past week. Stay tuned.
Here are your Hot Goods Value Mart IG Value Club Valentine's Specials.
Running February 9 to the 22nd.
Our Value Club Blue Tag Specials, IGA and Essential Everyday Honey Beer, $15.99. Quaker Granola Bars, just $11.99. Or Ida Fries, $18.99. Breyers Premium Ice Cream, $26.99. Tide Liquid Detergent, $34.99. Suavitel Fabric Softener, just $19.99. And now our very low weekly
Value deals. Post honey bunches of oats, $12.99. Snack pack puddings, $5.99. IGA and Essential Everyday Cream Cheese, $6.49. Welch's Grape Juices, $15.99. Mr. Clean Liquid Cleaner, $12.99. Dial Liquid Hand Soap, $5.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Want to get away? Now you can.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
We embarked a couple of years ago on a transformation program, and that is essentially to push the company into the 21st century. We're seeking to continue to be relevant, continue to be the leader in the business community, because if you stand still, somebody else is moving ahead of you.
We now employ about 110 persons on Nevis across the group. Back then we probably had half of them.
TVC impacted people's lives. Have about a handful of people who will tell you, TVC is my life.
Supporting stakeholders, obviously very, very strong and committed staff, and customers who believe in us.
Well, the scholarship program is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best in St. Kitts.
Almost every year you get a student who says, one day I'm going to be Prime Minister.
I was interviewing for the Warrell Tyson Scholarship Program. Eventually was told a few weeks later that I was a successful recipient. Those soft skills, I think, were tremendous and still serve me even up to today.
In news from the past week, police are continuing to investigate last week's fatal shooting. Here's more.
We have more information on the fatal shooting on Tuesday that left one person dead. The police have identified the victim as 51-year-old Delia Hanley of Limekiln. The incident occurred at the Irishtown Primary School, where she worked as a security guard. The police say that at approximately 4:10 p.m., gunshots were heard in the vicinity of the Irishtown Primary School. According to a statement, as part of the police's enhanced operations and community policing efforts, officers on patrol in the area were able to respond immediately. A chase and search ensued. Several suspects were apprehended and are in police custody. Pieces of evidence were also recovered. The police have thanked the public for its assistance and have extended condolences to the family of the deceased. In a statement, the police said, quote, "You can be assured that the perpetrators of these heinous crimes will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law," end quote. Investigations into the matter are ongoing.
The Irishtown Primary School remains closed this week. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Drew addressed the 44th regular meeting of the CARICOM heads of government for the first time. Here's more.
Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, is echoing the call for the use of Multidimensional Vulnerability Index, MVI, when offering financial assistance to developing countries. An MVI is a checklist of qualifiers developing island states can use to access financing and other debt relief measures. Traditionally, when it comes to loans, international financiers look at countries' total income and their ability to repay, without taking into account expensive infrastructural costs and responses to natural disasters, which sometimes occur annually. The MVI would include those that are traditionally overlooked using previous methods. During the opening of the 44th CARICOM Regular Heads of Governments Conference in the Bahamas on Wednesday, Prime Minister Drew made that call.
We strongly believe that greater consideration should be given to the Multidimensional Vulnerability Index as a more holistic metric for addressing the complex issues. It is more closely aligned to the ever-present danger we face on an annual basis, having to endure the ravages of natural disasters, including hurricanes, drought, volcanic eruptions, and rising sea levels. Assessing our high GDP does not adequately consider our vulnerability to economic and climate-related shocks. The analysis must involve a holistic approach to addressing vulnerability and provide solutions that are effective and sustainable. The time has come for the international financial institutions to take positive actions to address the realities we face and enable us not only to recover from national disasters, but adapt to the existential threat of climate change by building stronger, more resilient communities to benefit the lives of our people.
He made mention of challenges facing the region, which include intra-regional travel and recovery from COVID-19.
We must focus our attention on the myriad of challenges confronting us as small island developing states and low-lying coastal communities in an ever-increasing hostile global environment. Our challenges are well known to us, and I point out a few. Vulnerability to the external economic shocks, heavy dependence on a few products or services, frequent and more intense natural disasters, high costs associated with debt and climate change adaptation and mitigation, economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, disruption in supply chains and steady increase in the cost of imports and production, exacerbated by the ongoing war in Ukraine, and limited access to grants and concessional financing mechanisms to enable us to recover from external economic and environmental shocks. These overlapping challenges are cross-cutting in effect. They impact all sectors of the economy, forcing us to play catch-up as we advance our respective development agenda.
He said that St. Kitts and Nevis remains committed to strengthening the CARICOM Single Market and Economy CSME. The ceremony also featured acts from Bahamian dance groups, singers and choirs, and remarks from host Prime Minister and the new chairman of CARICOM, Honorable Philip Davis.
And the Tourism Minister, Honorable Marsha Henderson, is seeking to deepen relationships with regional countries. Here's more.
The St. Kitts Tourism Authority is seeking to increase inter-island travel between the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis and Statia. A delegation from Statia was welcomed at the Port Zante Marina and chauffeured to the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. Minister of Tourism Honorable Marsha Henderson gave a brief synopsis of the meeting.
Today we're at the Marriott meeting with a delegation out of Centre Station. We're going to be sitting down and discussing ways and means how we can partner in the industry, how we can work together in pushing both industries here in St. Kitts, of course, and in Centre Station.
As she is being supported by other tourism officials, Deputy Chief Executive Officer at the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, Melnesia Marshall, also gave potential outcomes of the meeting.
With the recent introduction of the Makane Ferry, we will be discussing ways in which we can partner to market the destinations. As we know, Centre Stations has always been a friend of the destination, and with the closeness and the proximity of the islands, we now have connectivity, which allows us here in St. Kitts to also visit those islands, but also we can add value to those visitors who may be visiting St. Kitts in terms of an offering that allows them to go and visit the other destinations, maybe for even a day or a few hours.
Recent introduction of Makane ferry services was the basis of Friday's meeting and discussion.
After the break, Antigua and Barbuda filmmaker excited about film completion, and Turkey ends search and rescue operation.